Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, make sure to subscribe and join the family. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are flourishing. I hope you guys are being blessed in Jesus' name. I hope all is going well for you. Welcome back to this video, and today I'm doing something that I've been working on throughout this entire year for my own life, and I feel like I could help somebody out there, and it came at a time where I needed it. So if you feel like the life you're living is somewhat passing you by, or it feels as if it's not your own, or life feels just a little bit chaotic and you don't feel in control, you don't feel like you're living the life that you would want to live, then this video is for you. So yeah, today we're going to talk about how to live a more intentional life, how to live a life with purpose. Yes, I feel like at the beginning of 2022 is really when I was like, Joe, you can't keep living life as if you're literally in a routine, or like as if it's not my own, you know what I mean? Like, it got to a point where I was like, girl, whose life are you living? Like, who are you living for, and what are you doing, you know? And when I got to that point, that's when I decided, you know what, let me just try and live a more intentional life. You know, sometimes your job can really like take so much out of you, you forget that this is life that is yours and that you should be living for you, and you're kind of just swayed by anything. Jobs just sway you this way, people sway you this way and that way, and you kind of don't have anywhere you stand with yourself. And so today I'm just gonna talk about ways you can get out of that, ways you can live a more intentional life, and a life that feels a lot more like your own, and that also brings you a lot of happiness. First of all, what is an intentional life, and what does intention mean, you know? And if you look up the word intention, like, some of these words will come up that define the word intention, and some of these words include aim and purpose, intent, you know, and a thing intended, an aim or a plan. So living a more intentional life just means living a life on purpose, with a purpose and on purpose. I mean, you could maybe not know exactly what your purpose on this life is, but at least you're living a life on purpose. You are participating in creating the life that you want, right? You personally as a person are doing things on the regular that contribute to a life that you want to live. You're basically doing it on purpose. You're doing it with intent and with an aim for you to live a life that you want, and a life that makes you happy, and a life that is also in line with who you are. So how do you live a life on purpose, if you may ask? So first, you need to define your identity. You need to know, who are you? What are your beliefs? What are your values? Do you have any values? Do you have any principles that you live by? So that's the number one thing to do. I think you need to identify who you are. You need to identify what your beliefs are and what your values are, and start living according to those things, and start living according to who you think you are and who you define yourself to be. If I am a daughter of Christ, I'm not gonna be living a life as though I'm not a daughter of Christ. Knowing the fact that I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, and that I'm a daughter of the Most High, I mean, that alone should change a lot about the way I live. It should tell me a lot about how I live and what I do daily in my life, right? So that's the first thing. I think identifying who you are, identifying what your beliefs are, identifying what your values are, and you really start to think about it, and if maybe you didn't have any and now you start kind of looking into what kind of person do you want to be, and what what values do you want to adopt in your life, right? And then you slowly now start to journey towards those things, and you start to journey towards that life. So the next thing is clarity. I mean, you need to be clear. You really need to be clear about the above points. So the first thing is to identify those things, identify what your principles are, your beliefs are, but then you also need to be pretty clear about them. So what an example is, for example, like, I'm not, like, if I say I'm a Christian, okay, cool, I'm a Christian. Am I a practicing Christian? Like, am I a Christian because I was born in a family of Christians, or am I a Christian because I actually want to live a life that glorifies God, for example, right? So you need to kind of define and really be clear on the things that you have identified. The next thing is, what do you want? What do you want out of your life? What do you want your life to look like? What do you want people to remember you for? Think about those things. When I say what do you want, I'm not really talking about material things. I mean, you can't say I want money. That's not a good enough reason for you to live a life on purpose, right? So think about what you want your life to look like. Think about what you want people to remember you for. And it's not really exactly about someone, like, it's not really about what the way other people see you. It's more so something that fulfills you and fulfills your life and makes your life worth living. Be clear about your goals and your targets and your aim in life, you know. Think about what you truly want your life to be like, and now start working towards that. My next point, which is probably one that I think is very, very important. I think without this, truly, you can't live a life intentionally, and that is taking action. Taking action on all the things that we've mentioned. So taking action. Living on purpose literally means taking action on a daily basis, taking action on everything that you do. So when I say taking action, I mean you actually have to do something on a daily basis. First of all, I think you have to want to do something. So if you're already tired of what your life is looking like, your life is not going to change unless you do something about it. So it really is you taking action on each and every single little thing that you want to accomplish. A simple example is, you don't like how healthy you are, right? You feel like maybe you're gaining weight or you're losing weight, or maybe you feel like, you know, your body's not looking the way you want it to look like, for example, without offending anybody, right? That's not gonna change unless you change it. That's not gonna change unless you change it. There is something that I remember very well. Like, there's a time I was working, it's not a very long time ago, I think it's about a year ago. I was working, and the job that I was working here really was tasking, and it led me to kind of living a life where I didn't have control on anything that I was doing, on anything. And I'll tell you, let me just give you an example. My hair was really suffering at some point, and my hair was looking anyhow. My hair was looking, it was suffering. It was like, I got to a point I even cut the hair because it was just horrible. It was looking horrible. And the thing is, that wouldn't have changed. My hair is flourishing now, by the way. That wouldn't have changed unless I decided to do something about it. Okay, cool. I know my job is tasking. I know my job is really taking literally 20 hours out of my 24 hours a day. But how do I change that? Do I make space for it? Do I change what my priorities are? You know what I mean? So for me to change that situation with my hair, which by the way, this sounds like a very minor situation, but at the time it was actually a situation. But for me to change that situation with my hair, I actually had to intentionally now take care of my hair. Literally take out 1 or 2 days a week. I mean, 1 day a week or 1 day every 2 weeks to do something that will contribute to the growth and health of my hair. And you can literally do that with anything in your life. So taking action. All the like anything that I talk about in this video is not gonna work unless you take action. So really, it's the question is really, how bad do you want to live an intentional life? How bad do you want it? Is it something like you stumbled upon this video and you're not so sure if you even want this? I feel you. If you stumbled upon this video, then maybe it's not for you. But there is someone out there who truly feels like they're tired of the type of life that they're living. And if you feel that way, I'm here to tell you that, sis, your life can change in half a second, because mine has. God can do miraculous things in half a second if only you try to do a little bit a day, a little bit a day. And I'm gonna, on this part, I think I'm gonna do another video where I will give you maybe 10 or 8 or 5, I can even do it multiple times on different videos, but where I basically explain to you the ways in which you can actually adopt an intentional life, how you can do it, what kind of habits you can create, and how to train yourself to abide by those habits. But then I'm not telling you to go and be perfect, because we cannot. We just cannot. By the way, I hope you guys are loving my hair, because I'm loving my hair. Anyway, when you're thinking about living a more intentional life, I think it's very important to take a step back. Take a step back from the things that have been taking your attention way too far. Take a step back from the things that have been clouding your mind. Take a step back from the daily routine. Take a step back from the people that have been really occupying all of your space, and people that don't necessarily even mean that much to you. Just step out and kind of observe the way your life was looking like from like an outsider's perspective, and then you'll kind of know. I think you will know where the changes need to be made. When you take a step back, you truly take time to reflect on yourself, to reflect on how your life has been looking like, what things you need to change. If you're a believer, you really start to pray a lot more. I think prayer really opens our eyes up to so much that we don't necessarily see when we're so busy with 1,000 things at the same time, right? And for me, I took a really big step back. I took the hugest step back. I think one day I will, I think it's also a testimony in itself, and I will talk about this in detail, but I think people thought I was crazy. People really thought that I was losing my mind, but I took the biggest step back, and you will not believe the amount of the visual that I got when I took a step back. The amount of eye-opening that happened, I just cannot even explain it to you guys, The day that I decided to take a step back, after a couple weeks of me stepping out, that's when I had so much clarity about what I want my life to look like. I had so much clarity about what I want to do with my life, living for me, and knowing exactly what kind of service I want to bring to my community, without necessarily just kind of flying by white opportunities just comes, and this person tells you, oh, you should be doing this, and another person tells you should be doing that, and then you have this person presenting you a certain opportunity and you just fly with it without necessarily being intentional about any of it, and then you kind of just end up in something, and maybe it's not what you want to do, or maybe it is what you want to do, and you're just kind of all over the place. When I took a step back, I really knew, like I started to hear God more. This is mostly for believers, and I encourage you to become a believer. But when you take a step back, you hear God a lot more. You start to listen more. You start to be so in tune with yourself, in tune with God, and you really starts to, and it starts to show, by the way. I'm telling you, it really starts to show. It shows in the way you present yourself, in the way you live your life. It really starts to show that this is a person that is living their life according to the way they want it to look like. So yeah, just take a step back from the regular, take a step back from what you usually do, and try to see yourself from a different perspective. So one last thing I would encourage you to think about when you're trying to live a more intentional life is who or how can I serve? Who can I serve and how can I serve? I will not emphasize this enough. I think we're not here, like, I truly believe that we're not on this earth to just be cruising by. We are here to do a certain mission, a certain like purpose, a certain, like, there is work to be done here. We're not here just to be making money and living. Like, okay, you make money, okay, you live, so what? You need to also do something else. You need to serve the people around you, serve your country, serve your community, serve your family, serve your church. Like, just how can you serve? Think about the ways. I mean, it can be something as small as, like, honestly, when you start to think about it, like, you can literally walk out of your gate here and see a street kid and give her or him 10k, 5k. You can give him a piece of bread. You can commit to feeding his family every single day, depending on the means that you have. And just think about how you can serve. You can also serve your family members. You can serve your siblings. Think about the ways they need you. Is it your emotional support they need? Is it just like financial support they need? It really, like, it's not something huge that you can do, but just think about the way you can be of service to the people around you, to your community, and to your country. And one last thing that I'm probably not gonna explore that much is have courage. Have courage. Be bold. Have courage to enter that church that you've always wanted to at least attend. Have courage to wake up and do some exercise because maybe usually you don't. Have courage to wake up and make your own meal. Have a healthy meal at home. Just have courage. I'm not gonna say it's easy to have courage. I'm not gonna say it's like the easiest thing, but you have courage, God will reward you. You will not regret it. If there's something that's really been sitting on your heart today and you really feel like I'm speaking to you, girl, go for it. Guy, go for it. I'm telling you, you'll not regret it. And I feel like all of this will make sense maybe one time when I share exactly what God has done for me in this year. I truly feel like the time has not come, but when I do share it, which I definitely will, it'll make a lot more sense. It'll make a lot more sense. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope this has spoken to somebody. I hope somebody is taking advantage of this. Let me know in the comments how you feel about your life. Let me know in the comments. Just go ahead and write it down and tell me if this has spoken to you. Do let me know because it encourages me a lot. And also just go in the comments and tell me what you think. If there's any other ideas, any more things that you would like to add on to pitch in, you're very welcome to put it in the comment section. And also give me a like because that will help others find out about this video. So please do that. Give me a like button. I'm not gonna wait for you just 5 seconds to just do that. It really doesn't cost anything. And thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, please do so right now. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.